inside. I don't care which side. I didn't get to choose which one is the more bad side. I'm moving forward. I'm no longer in the cracks, no longer on the railroad tracks. I'm moving to the front. I don't belong way in the back. Onward, I'm moving forward. Do you work?
Hey guys, what's up? Happy Friday and welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in this week for another episode of the BMuz Reviews podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Musica. As always, we're going to analyze, review, and discuss the latest news and dive into the past regarding movies, music, video games, and much, much more. If you don't already, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at BMuz Reviews, and tune into the BMuz Reviews podcast each week on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and all other streaming platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, we thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and to hit the bell icon to receive notifications that informs you exactly when our podcast goes live, as well as all other video content. Also, be sure to visit our website at www.musicaprojects.com. There you will find all important links to our latest podcast episodes, new projects currently available, and also previews of those currently in development, along with our latest blog posts. If there's a question or a topic that you'd like us to discuss on the podcast, send them to bmuzreviews@gmail.com with podcast question/topic in the subject line. With all that out of the way, let's not waste any more time and get right to this week's news. Welcome everyone to the BMuz Reviews podcast. Alright, and topic number one today, CODA for the win. Last Sunday, the Academy Awards took place, and I know mostly everyone is talking about the incident that occurred in the middle of the show, but instead, I would really like to place the focus where it belongs, and that's on the hard work, dedication, and true talent that was honored throughout the night, including Dune, which took home the most Oscars out of any film with 6, and of course, this year's Best Picture winner, CODA, not only winning Best Picture, but winning all 3 categories in which it was nominated. Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Troy Kotsur nominated and winning the award for Best Supporting Actor. Troy Kotsur is only the second deaf performer to be nominated for an Academy Award, the first being his co-star in the film, Marla Matlin, who actually won the Academy Award for her performance in the film Children of a Lesser God. The New York Post details this monumental and historic win for CODA, and I quote, "The 53-year-old has become the second deaf actor to win the Academy Award and the first deaf man to take home the trophy. The actor scored a win for his role in the Apple TV Plus drama on Sunday, March 27th. Presenter Yoo Jung-yoon held his statuette right next to him as he spoke to the crowd in sign language. He said, and I quote, 'My dad, he was the best signer in our family, but he was in a car accident and became paralyzed from the neck down,' he said in his moving acceptance speech, noting that his father could no longer sign after that. 'Dad, I learned so much from you. I'll always love you. You are my hero.' Kotsur also thanked all of the wonderful deaf theater stages where he was able to develop his craft over the years. This is dedicated to the deaf community, the CODA community, and the disabled community. This is our moment," he added. End quote. Man, really beautiful. Could not be more happy for Troy Kotsur. Was definitely rooting for him to win this Oscar. The night before the Oscars, I actually had a chance to go see CODA, and I was just blown away. Simply blown away. If you have not seen the film yet, please do yourself a favor and watch this movie as soon as possible. It's such an emotional, deeply moving story that really does a tremendous job highlighting not only the difficulties that individuals with hearing disabilities may encounter in life, but also the beauty that is contained within the love and strong bond between family. Just a great story, a great movie, and most definitely BMuz Reviews approved. CODA is currently available to stream on Apple TV Plus, and it also just got announced that the film will be re-released in theaters in honor of its most recent historical Best Picture win at the Oscars. Definitely watch CODA if you have not done so yet. Great, great movie, and congratulations once again to everyone involved. Topic number 2 today, Ezra Miller. Oh boy, Ezra Miller. For those of you that do not know and have not heard, Ezra Miller, aka the upcoming star in Warner Brothers' The Flash, who also happens to be in Warner Brothers' other cash cow, that being one of the most successful film franchises of all time in the world of Harry Potter, the new Fantastic Beasts film only days away. Late Sunday evening, while the Oscars was, I guess, just about wrapping up, because it did go long. It did go long. Ezra Miller was belligerent and intoxicated while staying in Hawaii. And while this was going on, he got to the point where he began yelling nonsense, using foul and inappropriate language, and just expressing his strong distaste for a young woman performing karaoke, a young woman, 23 years of age, performing karaoke, just having fun, just worrying about herself. And you have Ezra Miller, who becomes intoxicated, begins yelling at her, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. But it does not stop there. No, sir. No, sir, it does not. Ezra Miller then took it upon himself to do his best Will Smith impression by walking up onto the stage where the woman was performing karaoke, and only instead of slapping anyone, Ezra Miller decided to forcibly grab the microphone out of the young woman's hands while singing. I don't even know what would propel someone to do that. Anyway, like I said, it does not stop there. Then a 32-year-old guy who's playing darts apparently said something to Ezra Miller after seeing this, to which then resulted in Ezra Miller lunging at the guy for whatever the guy said. And it's also being reported that words like, "Who do you think you're dealing with? Do you have any idea who I am?" That kind of stuff was said. And I'll tell you what, that is the one thing. First of all, I'll say this. That is the one attitude. If somebody has that type of attitude, I don't care who you are, rich or not. Immediately when someone asks that question, my immediate response is always, well, I don't know who you think you are, but you're not, so let's start there. I just cannot stand the arrogance of some people when they have that mindset, and Ezra Miller is definitely one that falls in that category now. And just when you think the story stops here, no, it does not. Apparently, after being arrested for the incident and posting the $500 bail, he then went as far as to threaten to kill and also rob the couple he was supposedly staying with. Which, first of all, I mean, if you're Ezra Miller, you're a famous wealthy actor, why are you staying with another couple in the first? Why aren't you staying with her? Beyond me. Beyond me. Honestly, probably gets a whole lot weirder from there, so we're just going to leave it alone. But the verbal assault upon the couple has now resulted in a temporary restraining order, which is detailed in the following AOL article, and I quote, "A Hawaii judge has granted a couple's request for a temporary restraining order against Ezra Miller, an actor known for playing the Flash in Justice League films. The couple filed a petition for a temporary restraining order Tuesday, alleging that Miller burst into their bedroom and threatened them in Hilo, a small town on the Big Island. The petition also accused Miller of stealing some of their belongings, including a passport and wallet. The judge's order, filed in court Tuesday, said it was necessary to grant the couple's petition to prevent harassment. Days earlier, Miller allegedly harassed patrons at a karaoke bar, which is what we just mentioned. Late Sunday, police were called to Margarita Village in Hilo, where they said Miller yelled obscenities, grabbed a mic from a singing woman, and lunged at a man playing darts." End quote. I mean, Warner Brothers has a serious problem on their hands with this. Not only is this an issue in itself, Not only do they have a major multi-million-dollar film releasing worldwide in the next few days with him in it, and not only is he set to star in the Flash movie next year as Barry Allen, the Flash, a movie that is already finished filming after years of production, but this is now a pattern of behavior that has been documented. Back in 2018, Ezra Miller physically assaulted a woman, choking her to the ground. And if this is the first time that you're hearing this story, I'm not surprised because Warner Brothers did not talk about this. When it happened, they said nothing. They did nothing. Absolutely not one person at Warner Brothers addressed this when it happened or has since then. Nor will they. And all you did by doing that is say to Ezra Miller, you are untouchable. You are in control. You can do whatever you want. Welp, how did that work out for you, Warner Brothers? Seriously. It's too late for them to recast him in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts movie. It's only days away from release. And I don't know if they will, but I believe they could and also should recast Ezra Miller's Flash. How do you go about that? It's not up to me. It's your decision. But I believe it should be done. And at the end of the day, this guy clearly needs help. I agree with many of the sentiments expressed with regard to the whole Will Smith scenario, with as wrong as he was and as terrible as it was, all that stuff. At the end of the day, I am a firm believer that one individual should not be condemned and looked at and judged upon by their worst moment. I don't believe that. However, with this particular scenario, this is now a pattern of behavior that has been documented, as we said. And that just clearly indicates that this guy needs help. And he's not going to get that help by just running loose, doing whatever he wants, choking women to the ground, assaulting people at a karaoke bar, and threatening to kill and rob people that he stays with and associates with. It's nonsense. I don't know. We're going to leave it there. We'll keep our eyes and ears open in the meantime, and we'll look for anything that comes out regarding this story. And as more details emerge, we will be sure to talk about them right here on the podcast. So stay tuned for more. All right, and topic number 3 today. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series has a major update. Yesterday, a major update was announced with regard to the upcoming highly anticipated Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney+. The series was set to originally debut on Wednesday, May 25th, but has now been pushed back, but only 2 days. The series will now debut on Friday, May 27th, but will also premiere with the first 2 episodes of the series. We will most definitely be watching the series for our YouTube channel, so be sure to check back for those videos when they do arrive. And all I want, I swear, all I want in this series, I need a moment, I need a Duel of the Fates moment where Obi-Wan faces off against the Grand Inquisitor. My body is ready. Everyone is ready. We need this. Please do not let us down, and I do not expect this show to let us down at all. I'm very excited for this show. Ewan McGregor back in this role, Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader. I cannot wait to see what this entails. Cannot wait. Only 1 month away. All right, topic number 4 today. This past week, the first episode of Moon Knight debuted on Disney+. Now, this is going to be a complete non-spoiler review, and just want to mainly talk about first impressions overall. Recently got to watch the first episode, the latest Marvel limited series to arrive on Disney+, Moon Knight. Such a very different vibe and concept, and overall just a very different character from anything else we've seen Marvel related thus far, I would say. I know Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness promises to be wildly epic and just introduce an explosion of things that we've probably least expect, I'm sure. But with regard to this series specifically and this character, like many of you, I have no idea about Moon Knight, truly, based on what I could do research online just to get a small glimpse of what the character's origin entails. But overall, when I dove into the series, kind of going in blind, like many of you, and I will say, even though it's very different from anything we've seen, that is not a bad thing at all. I think that's ultimately what makes this show as intriguing and ultimately as exciting to continue watching. The transition cutscenes between when Oscar Isaac is his self, then when he's fighting between becoming the character Moon Knight, the way it's shot is very interesting, it's very unique, and it's very well done. If there's one word that I could ultimately use to describe this show based on first impressions of the first episode, it's unique. It is unique. There's nothing else like it. I don't even know what to compare it to, really. People say, like, Moon Knight's kind of like a Batman of the Marvel. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Maybe they're right. I don't really get that from the first episode, which is kind of like, this is its own thing, honestly. I mean, Batman's its own thing. Moon Knight, it's its own thing. And I really get that from this episode. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes next. Only one episode in. The series will be comprised of 6 episodes in total, like the other Marvel limited series that have debuted on Disney+. But I'm already looking forward to watching the next episode, that's for sure. Cannot wait. All right, and topic number 5 today, our weekly review of AEW Dynamite. The show kicked off with CM Punk coming up to a massive pop from the crowd. His challenger, Max Caster, then came out, and instead of insulting the city in his rap like he normally does, he directed his focus completely on Punk, even going as far as to say, "You look like you smoke more rocks than Hunter Biden." I'm not going to lie, that line killed me. Max Caster is something else. This is a very solid match, and featuring a veteran in the ring like Punk, as well as a future star in the making in Max Caster, this one surely delivered. Punk picked up the win via submission after hitting a pile driver and then locking in the Anaconda Vice. Tony Schiavone then hopped in the ring for Punk's post-match interview, asking him the one question that's been on everyone's minds since we last saw him. What did Punk mean when he signaled the championship around his waist after his win last week over Dax Harwood? And in a great promo, Punk simply said, before his time is over in AEW, he will be world champion, making a firm, declarative statement. Next, we saw one half of the vicious, violent, and deadly tag team, the Blackpool Combat Club, as Jon Moxley took on Jay Lethal in singles competition. This match was as physical and hard-hitting as they come, seeing Jon Moxley hit the paradigm shift and pick up the pinfall win over Jay Lethal. Now, before the match, Lethal did extend his hand to Moxley, but Moxley wanted nothing to do with it. He only wanted to skip right to the fighting. And after the match, though, Moxley was the one that extended his hand to Lethal, signifying that Lethal had earned the respect of Moxley and also the Blackpool Combat Club as a whole. Next match, we saw Wheeler Yuta take on the other half of the Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson. Fans were really pulling for Yuta and wanted him to get the win over Danielson. But after multiple stomps to the face and a gotch pile driver, Danielson hit his finisher and picked up the win over Yuta. After this match, however, Danielson did not extend a handshake offer to Yuta, simply signifying that Yuta still has yet to prove himself. Great storytelling, and I'm genuinely loving everything involving the Blackpool Combat Club right now, especially with William Regal leading the faction. Man, it's just really great stuff. Later, FTR was shown backstage talking to MJF, where they made it clear that they want nothing to do with the drama between he and Wardlow, or anything of that nature. They simply want to focus on themselves and their plans. FTR then made their way down to the ring for their match against the Gun Club, or as the crowd also calls them, the Ass Boys. During the match, MJF sat at the announce table, and at one point, Wardlow was shown backstage making his way into the arena looking for MJF. He threw security around like rag dolls and came down to the entrance ramp through the crowd, only to be stopped and held back by security. They then escorted Wardlow out of the arena, and FTR was able to pick up the win, although they expressed their extreme frustration with MJF after the match, as they specifically told him before the match they want no part of the drama between he and Wardlow. So it's really interesting to see how this is going to play out for the next few weeks. Later on the show, the Jericho Appreciation Society got into a massive brawl with LAX in the ring, and then also later on, Adam Cole and Red Dragon all appeared in the ring to tout their stolen championship titles, all with tape in their names written in Sharpie. The rightful AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page drove out and ran down to the ring along with Jurassic Express. After a quick brawl in the ring, the champions were able to reclaim their stolen titles. Then, AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill appeared backstage with her manager Smart Mark Sterling, opting to face Marina Shafir when going for her 30th win and to keep her undefeated streak alive, defending the TBS championship as well. AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa was then interviewed and claimed that she wants to be the face of all women's wrestling, and then challenged Nyla Rose to a match, putting her title on the line. Nyla was then shown backstage with Vicky Guerrero, her manager, where she accepted Thunder Rosa's championship challenge. Next on the show, the Owen Hart Foundation tournament kicked off with the Bunny facing the surprise debut and new AEW signing Tony Storm. Tony Storm is now all elite and quickly picked up the victory over the Bunny in this match, advancing to the next round of the tournament. Then we got the main event, which was a pure grudge match between Darby Allin and the leader of the AFO, Andrade El Idolo. After a beginning brawl outside of the ring prior to the match starting, the two went head-to-head, trading back and forth strikes and maneuvers. The AFO came down to the ring, and instead of hitting the coffin drop on Andrade, Darby Allin decided to save Sting instead by jumping on the AFO from the top turnbuckle to the outside of the ring. And after a later distraction, however, Andrade was able to pick up the win over Darby. After the match, the Hardys came running down to the ring to save Darby and Sting, and Jeff Hardy hit a swanton bomb and straight up landed on Isaiah Cassidy with his full body weight. If you go back and watch the clip, higher body weight just slams on Isaiah Cassidy. It is brutal. Absolutely brutal. And that was the end of this week's episode of Dynamite. Really look forward to checking out AEW Rampage tonight at 10 p.m. on TNT. And look forward, as always, to seeing next week's episode of AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. on TBS. Hey guys, just want to take a minute to give a major shout out and say thank you to the sponsor of this week's episode of the BMuz Reviews podcast, Marla Jean Boutique. If you are seeking a gift either for yourself or a loved one who finds value in handmade items, then look no further than Marla Jean Boutique. She has a collection of trendy handmade items including clothing, wine bags, jewelry, and much, much more. Use the promo code BMuzReviews10 at checkout to receive 10% off your entire purchase. Connect with Marla Jean Boutique on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Marla Jean Boutique, and be sure to visit their website at www.marlajeanboutique.com. And once again, be sure to use the promo code BMuzReviews10 at checkout to receive 10% off your entire purchase. And now, back to the podcast. All right, and topic number 6 today, Bruce Willis stepping away from acting. News broke earlier this week regarding Bruce Willis and his recent aphasia diagnosis, which has now led to the decision to step away from the acting profession entirely. In an article from People, and I quote, Bruce Willis is retiring from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia. The 67-year-old actor's family shared the news on Instagram Wednesday, writing alongside a photo of him on their Instagram feeds. To Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and recently was diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him, the caption added. According to the Mayo Clinic, aphasia robs you of the ability to communicate and can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. The group adds that the condition typically occurs suddenly after a stroke or head injury, but it can also come on gradually from a slow-growing brain tumor or a disease that causes progressive, permanent damage, end quote. Man, just very sad and unfortunate news, but Bruce Willis has seriously delivered some of the most amazing films and performances that we've seen. Some of my personal favorite films of Bruce Willis include Die Hard. Actually, only ever seen the first film too, so definitely look forward to seeing more of them, and we'll certainly feature them on the channel for sure. But more films of Bruce Willis that I definitely love, no doubt, Pulp Fiction, The Fifth Element, Armageddon, The Sixth Sense, The Whole Nine Yards, Unbreakable, and definitely Moonrise Kingdom for sure, to name a few. If you haven't seen those films, definitely recommend giving each one a watch. There's plenty more Bruce Willis films that I have yet to see, and many of them, like I said, we will be watching and featuring on our YouTube channel. So be sure to keep an eye out for that for sure. Just extending all my best to Bruce Willis and his friends and family. All right, and topic number 7 today. In terms of new trailers this week, a new trailer for Top Gun Maverick released earlier this week. I feel like we've been waiting and seeing trailers and posters and just all sorts of marketing for this film for close to 3 years now. It's really incredible. Speaking of incredible, this film looks incredible. The way it is shot, I mean, this film definitely is meant to be seen on the biggest screen possible, particularly IMAX if you're able to get to a theater. Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, John Hamm, Val Kilmer, and many more. Just really looking forward to seeing this film. And I will definitely be looking to see it on IMAX if possible. Only 1 month away, releasing worldwide in theaters May 27th. Topic number 8 today. For this week's album review, we're going to be taking a trip back in time to 1983 and checking out Construction Time Again by Depeche Mode. There's just a brief background. Depeche Mode is my favorite band of all time. Next to Rush and The Killers, definitely consider Depeche Mode my favorite band of all time. For anyone that is not familiar with Depeche Mode and their music, Depeche Mode are an English electronic music band formed in Basildon in 1980. The group consists of a trio of Dave Gaughan, Martin Gore, and Andy Fletcher. Depeche Mode released their debut album Speak and Spell in 1981, bringing the band onto the British new wave scene. And their hits include Just Can't Get Enough, Enjoy the Silence, Personal Jesus, Strange Love, People Are People, Policy of Truth, Everything Counts, and many more. Since the band's 1993 album Songs of Faith and Devotion, each album has followed a release of exactly 4 years apart from each other. Still patiently waiting for new music from Depeche Mode, so that streak has obviously been broken. Any news to come out regarding the band recording its next project, something that I'm definitely looking into for sure, and any news that does come out, we will be sure to talk about it here on the podcast. Now, with regard to the album we're going to talk about today, Construction Time Again, released in 1983, it's truly a remarkable album. Very, very good album. And it's so hard to pick a favorite song on the album, especially since every song is so unique, as is the case with every single Depeche Mode song. Listening to this album, again, just reaffirmed my love and appreciation for Depeche Mode and their music overall. This album utilizes the most unique and outlandish sounds in songs that I've ever heard. From the first song, Love in Itself, which is just a massive collage of sounds ranging from quick piano and keyboard bits to trumpets to 8-bit sounding drum loops. Then you have songs like Work Hard and Pipeline, which feature actual sounds that were recorded by Depeche Mode while standing outside of a construction site. Like, the fact that they even thought to do that, let's stand outside of this construction site, hold up a microphone, and we'll make it into our pop song. And then it became songs. Then it became multiple songs. And then it became the entire theme of the album. I mean, revolutionary is an understatement when it comes to this band. They have influenced the likes of Muse, Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails, Arcade Fire, Coldplay, Linkin Park, and another one of my favorite bands all time, The Killers. Brandon Flowers, talking about them all the time. And if I had to pick some favorite songs on the album, they would be Told You So, Everything Counts, Get the Balance Right, Work Hard, Love in Itself, as well as the song And Then. Just a really tremendous album and still holds up, as do all of Depeche Mode's music. If you haven't ever listened to Depeche Mode, I could not recommend it enough, especially checking out this album. But If you're going to get into Depeche Mode the right way, I would say start at the beginning and work your way all the way through up to now. I mean, just an incredible catalog of music, and as I said, revolutionary is just, it's an understatement when talking about this band. What they've done for music and just the entertainment world as a whole, I'd say. It's just true pioneers, and definitely looking forward to hearing any new music that comes from them. And I look forward to nothing more than going with friends and family to seeing them live. That is something I've been waiting for since the last time seeing them, the first time I ever got to see them. Unbelievable show. Saw them in their last tour, and man, I just want to go. I just want to be back in that space. So, cannot wait. Looking forward to hearing more, and anything that does come out about this, definitely be sure to check it out and talk about it here on the podcast. All right, and topic number 9 today, most anticipated movies of the month of April. Tons of movies and shows releasing soon, especially during this month of April. Some of my most anticipated movies include Morbius. Now, despite what all earlier reviews are saying, I'm still looking forward to seeing this film. A big Jared Leto fan, and I'm really just curious to see what this movie entails, and I'm still looking forward to it nonetheless. Regardless of what reviews are saying, I'm still looking forward to it. Another film that I'm looking forward to for sure is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, that features Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. I cannot wait to see this. I was invited to an early screening for this film, so I will be attending, and I look forward to seeing this film as soon as possible. It looks great, looks funny, and definitely going to talk about it here on the podcast after seeing it for sure. Another movie that I'm looking forward to, and one of my most anticipated movies of the entire year, one that we talked about some weeks back on the podcast when talking about 2022's most anticipated movies for myself, The Northman. I mean, this movie looks nuts. I cannot wait for this film. I really cannot wait. It's another movie with a stacked cast, but the story is unique, original. I love the color and photography that I've seen. The cinematography looks awesome. I can get behind this. I can get behind a action-packed revenge story that takes place in like the 1600s or before. Yes, even before that. Whenever. Just sign me up. I was hooked from the trailer. Yep, I'm all in. Bring the juice. Bring it. Now, in terms of other content releasing this month on streaming, this includes Judd Apatow's latest film, The Bubble, which is now on Netflix, released today. Also, the premiere of the new HBO Max series, Tokyo Vice, which debuts on April 7th. Definitely will be featuring reactions on our YouTube channel for this show, for sure. And last but not least, Barry Season 3. We talked about it either last week or the week before, but Barry is another series on HBO Max that I seriously cannot recommend enough. If you have not seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's fantastic. Season 3 coming to HBO Max April 24th. Can't recommend it enough. And the first 2 seasons are only 8 episodes each. For 30 minutes each episode. It's so easy to binge, and I watched it through a second time just to refresh my mind for the 3rd season. Very glad I did. It's a great show. It is a great show, and I cannot recommend it enough. Season 3 is coming to HBO Max April 24th, and while April brings all the showers, it's a perfect excuse to stay in and catch up on all of the latest movies and shows. Now, last but not least, topic number 10 today. Just going to preview some upcoming content that we're going to see on our YouTube channel that includes movie reactions and gameplay videos. If you haven't already, check out our debut episode of Retro Reset, where we take a dive into Starsky and Hutch on the PlayStation 2, and we're going to be diving into plenty of more games going forward as we take your recommendations for both movies and gameplay videos. For movie reactions, we'll start off with some random picks of movies that I haven't seen yet, and then we'll take your recommendations and add them to our list, and the same goes for our gameplay videos. We'll be diving into my vast collection of retro games, and also be sure to visit our link tree where you will find the full master list of our retro game collection, and there you can pick out games from that list and recommend them to us, and we'll be sure to add them to our list to complete for the channel. And that just about wraps up this installment of the BMuz Reviews podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Musica. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at BMuz Reviews, and be sure to listen every week on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and all other streaming platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications that inform you exactly when our podcast and all other videos are out. And as mentioned, be sure to visit our website, www.musicaprojects.com. There you'll find all the links to our social pages, links to our latest podcast episodes, and also be able to read our latest blog posts as well. We'll be back next Friday with a new episode of the BMuz Reviews podcast, so stay tuned for more. And as always, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.